Okay, welcome everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope it's going to be a great session and we've got a lot to show you. Today we're talking about going from customer onboarding to professional services with Precursive. So my name is Andy and I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Precursive, and I'm joined by Kate, who is our product manager.
Hi everyone.
So today we would like to share our vision for Precursive and let you see how you can achieve more. Before we get into the product, I want to share how we think about some of the challenges you have with customer onboarding and implementation. Kate will then talk to how Precursive brings the core areas around customer onboarding, project management and collaboration, resource management and professional services, automation all together. Finally, we're going to share some of our roadmap that we're going to be working on over the next few months, and we're going to be around to answer any questions that might crop up. So if you do have questions throughout the session, feel free to drop them into the Zoom Q&A panel and we'll answer them there at the end. So our customers realize that key to growth is their ability to help their customer realize value quickly, leading to customers for life. We must move away from some of these traditional ways companies have viewed implementations, and we need to focus on customer outcomes with defined, repeatable playbooks that help us deliver early initial value and then iterate to expand that value throughout the business. We've identified key trends and themes impacting how we deliver to our customers. Some, while not new, have become more critical due to the way the world is changing around us. We're all grappling with this new reality, and this is all likely impacting many of you and, of course, your customers. Now, more often, retention is being seen as a key driver of growth. We have always said that customer success starts with customer onboarding and solidly believe that. Customers are demanding value in their investment faster. Time to value is more critical than ever, and you need to be monitoring and improving time to value as a key KPI. Remote delivery is the new normal, and we need to figure out how this impacts the way that we run our teams. If we're not used to it and we're not planning appropriately, working remotely can create new challenges and strain on our team and reduce our ability to understand our team's workload. So Precurify is a great example of focusing on time to value. They've had huge success with Precursive meeting customer expectations by focusing squarely on shortening time to value. We hear from prospective customers about symptoms and challenges they're facing every day, typically starting by this disconnection between sales and delivery, which in pre-sales is hampering your ability to transition from deals being won to delivery starting in a seamless way. This can cause a lack of visibility into the pipeline, capacity issues, or simply just not knowing who's available to pick up the work. And this all leads to delays in this crucial junction, which results in the customer feeling forgotten about and not knowing what's happening. Compounding issues through delivery and miscommunication about scope leads to delays realizing potential value or complete failure to launch a tool. All these delays impact revenue that can be recognized by your business, and these delays put a huge strain on your ability to retain the customers beyond the first year. So this is a billion-dollar problem, so don't feel like you're alone if this sounds familiar. It's been calculated at $3.4 billion of lost recurring revenue caused by failed implementations alone. This is a travesty because all of this is avoidable. Have a think about what this looks like in your business and how much are you contributing to this number. Now, we've seen reports of anywhere up to 50% of first-year churn being caused by issues in the first 90 days related to customer onboarding or the implementation. Imagine that. We know from our customer onboarding survey that this is a critical issue for most of you. In the current climate, with new business challenges and a lot of industries, retention is the new growth, and you cannot do that when you're losing customers in the first year. So this is the journey we're going on with the very best organizations. These organizations realize that we're in an era of experience, and it's not just what you deliver, but how you deliver, which is important. So this means navigating junctions and transitions smoothly, getting the right people with the right skills and knowledge quickly, creating momentum for the smoother delivery. You're now helping the customer realize value more quickly and you can recognize revenue earlier or start billing earlier, and you can start treating the customer as a growth opportunity sooner, as they're already starting to see value. When done right, we're not just talking about renewal, but expansion and also referrals into new business, creating this flywheel of growth. So how do we get there? Firstly, the gap between sales and services is in the worst case a hand grenade being thrown over with services or success teams playing clean up and catch up to figure out what the customer is looking to achieve. Sales teams are making promises and service teams are on the hook. So how do we align these teams and ensure that we set appropriate expectation? We all hear that accidents happen on intersections, and it's the same thing here. Handovers are where the risk is. If you cannot mobilize a team, this makes it harder for sales who do not know who they can hand over to. With Precursive, our customers are mobilizing the team based on availability, skills, and product knowledge, but also anticipating upcoming engagements based on the sales pipeline. And this all aids in smoothing this transition between teams, leading to a much better customer experience. This all leads to expansion as customers are now an advocate and seeing value quickly. During delivery, there are often delays because of broken communication or poor engagement from stakeholders. Now, we advocate for creating repeatable processes and playbooks for the delivery of each product or service implementation. This ensures that your teams are trained on the delivery model and sales can talk to it clearly, as it's not being made up on the spot or being managed differently by each project manager. And we hear all the time about project delays due to customers not making themselves available. And we see this as your problem to solve. You need to make sure that the customer is aware of what will happen, when, and what is expected of them throughout the process, and how much time they need to set aside. So when we talk about resource capacity and availability, the customer is the most critical resource impacting the overall success, and they need your direction. So very rarely does a customer complain about over communication related to an implementation project. Precursive gives you and your customers the space to collaborate and gives them the visibility into the plan. So this experience becomes a key differentiator, and your customer will trust you and your relationships should grow. So everything we're talking about is underpinned by the Salesforce platform. This concept of a single source of truth, so we all know that we're looking at the same customer information, is fundamental to ensuring that everyone in your company has the same view of the customer. This itself will transform the way that your team engage with your customers and talk about your customers internally. So Will Blake, one of our customers at CRU, said it best: you have to have a pretty compelling reason not to put it on Salesforce. So you'll only be successful when your customers are. Bad or late onboarding or implementation projects are impacting the growth of your business. And we recognize how you work, and to reflect this, we have defined these 3 core products around these needs. The Precursive Onboarding Experience is all about building repeatable onboarding and project implementation playbooks, managing work for each customer and project, collaborating internally and also with your customer. Precursive Onboarding Experience lets you plan, schedule, and deliver success for each customer. Precursive Resource Capacity Optimization gives you the view of your team's availability to plan and allocate resources, forecast capacity, and identify crunches. Precursive RCO is focused on customers who are looking to plan and allocate their team and forecast projects. Now, the Precursive Professional Services Experience extends the capability of resource optimization, helping you ensure each project is successful and profitable. With PSX, you not only stay on top of your team's capacity and utilization, and also project budgets, costs, margin, and expenses of your professional services projects. PSX is focused on professional services businesses when managing project financials and project P&L, and billing is essential. Together, these products make up the Precursive platform, which helps your team create a seamless journey for your customer to ensure your customers realize the value of your products and services quicker. You can start with one product and add others as your needs grow. And we see it as essential to have the capability to grow into these different products as your business grows or as your needs change. We're seeing a trend of customers start with one product and then expand to use our whole platform. This is being influenced by the type of work they deliver, their team size, and how their business evolves over time. Today, we're going to focus on how you can use Precursive and the Precursive platform together. We realize that onboarding and implementation teams very often have this disconnected view of the work and their team. Very often work is assigned without regard for capacity. Work builds up so it doesn't get done on time, and in effect the project gets delayed. We do our best to try and estimate if we're able to deliver projects on time by kind of measuring them, and we know our team can handle 10 projects a month, for example. Now, we don't do this because we don't know how to plan. We just miss the full visibility of where everything is. It's complex. Estimating in terms of projects per month gives us this basic enough understanding of the team's capacity, but it quickly gets complicated by the stage each project's in, like an individual's own working schedule, if they've got time off or holiday, if a couple of people have holiday in a certain month, or just the complexities of having different sizes and shapes and types of projects. They're not all going to be the same. So even with more process around this, or even a dedicated resource manager or resourcing team, what often happens is that the resource manager is booking resources without a full view of the project plan or a first version of the project plan. And as that project plan is defined or redefined and changes, resource management changes and needs to be adjusted. And this is just how projects work. They slowly diverge from one another. As the project plan starts to stray from the original resource plan, we then need to go back and reconcile and rebook people and change people's bookings, and it just becomes a mess. As for the individuals, we're asking them to submit timesheets every week, but these can often be wrong because it's difficult to remember what you did in each day throughout the week, especially at 5 p.m. on a Friday when you're trying to shoot off. So this is all simplified if you're working on one or two projects, but for those of us working across many more than that, life gets tough pretty quick. So Kate is now going to show you how Precursive has been designed to solve this and that you focus on your customer.
Thank you, Andy. Today, I would like to show you on a real-life example how our products work together and what are the advantages to use them as a platform for your business. So let's start with Precursive Onboarding Experience, known also as OBX or previously TaskFeed. And just to give you a little bit of overview, if you don't use OBX yet, OBX is a tool that allows you to onboard and manage your customer projects alongside with your internal ones within the Salesforce ecosystem. Thanks to OBX, you can turn your product, services, or onboarding plans into repeatable playbooks. Once your opportunity reaches a certain stage, your onboarding or project plan is then scheduled automatically, and all you have to do then is to monitor if your project is on track. So let's have a look. Here is an opportunity that has been closed won, which means that I already have a project in my queue. I can see that this is a standard onboarding project, so I can now open it and see the details. So what I can see now is my plan created based on the onboarding project type. It's scheduled based on the dependencies, duration, lead and lag times defined in the onboarding project template. And this is a Kanban view of my project. But if you want to focus on the timeline, you can switch to the plan view, which is a Gantt chart. I can also see my plan in the table view, where the project tasks are presented as a list. In each of those views, I can see what roles are required on the project. And you can see this on the right-hand side. I could assign team members to this project directly from here, but let me hold with that, and you will see why I'm not doing it yet. So my customer has just confirmed that they can kick off the project 2 weeks later that it was supposed to start. So let's navigate to the plan view and reschedule the kickoff call by 2 weeks. So now you can see that all the dependent task has also moved by 2 weeks. I can now set the baseline and track how we are delivering against our commitment to the customer. If I move this task once again by 1 day, you'll see that all the tasks will show up as delayed. My whole team, in that sense, have now the full visibility of the work planned, remaining, but also if something is delayed, but also how the project is progressing in overall. They can be notified in real time when tasks are ready to work on based on their predecessors being completed, and they can also get notifications when something gets delayed. So what I can do now is I can also share the link to my project with my customer, which means that they can always have the most up-to-date view of the project plan. And thanks to that, I don't have to send them a spreadsheet back and forth every time there is a change in the plan. So now let's have a look how incorporating resource capacity management into onboarding or project management can help you mobilize your team faster. But before we move on to the demo, let me introduce you to the resource capacity optimization, so RCO, which is part of the Precursive solution that allows you to focus and plan the capacity of your team. Thanks to this capacity view, you can allocate the right people to your project based on their real availability, so no more guesswork. You can identify any capacity crunches much more in advance. But also, you can balance the workload across your team to make sure that everyone in the team has some work allocated. So let's have a look now. How the onboarding experience works with the resource capacity optimization. So you've seen my project already, and I mentioned to you that I won't be assigning the team directly from there just after the project has been created. And here is why, because I want to show you how RCO can help you with that. So let's navigate to the capacity view, so Precursive plan. What you can see here is the list of people in my organization and their capacity. Here I can select what time range I want to look at. It can be a week, month, or quarter. What I can also do here, I can expand any of the resource names to see what projects they are working on, to see what is the time planned on this specific project and how that impacts their capacity booked. I haven't assigned yet anybody to my project, so what I will do now, I will go to the request mode, where I can see all the required team members, their roles, and the amount of time that is needed to complete the task on the project. In this view, all the roles that haven't, you can see all the roles that haven't been assigned to anyone yet. Looks like the most needed person on this project is the implementation manager. So let's see who could take this piece of work. I'll click on Assign to see who's available in this time range. As you can see on the right-hand side, the filter is automatically adjusted to the role I'm looking for. And looks like Kenneth and Richard are already allocated to some projects, and their capacity booked is already quite high, so 75% and 87%. You might have some specific requirements for the person you are looking for. For example, it could be that your implementation manager should speak French. To find someone speaking French, you can use additional filters here. In this example, you can see that Robin is available, and she also speaks French. So let's assign this role to her then. So we can see that she now has a booking on the Speak to Win project starting on the 20th of October. If you were to use the onboarding experience and the resource capacity optimization together, This is how you would assign your project team, but that's not everything. And here is the best. Every time you make a change in your project plan, reschedule a task, assign it to a different person, or update the plan time, the dates. The plan time and the capacity of your team will be automatically updated, and you'll see the reality in the capacity view. And how else you are made to make important decisions than by looking at the reality. So let's go back to the board and let's increase the estimated time on the kickoff task, and let's reschedule it. Let's move it back to the 5th of October. And let's get back to the plan and refresh the page to see the changes. So now you can see that the first booking for Robin on this project has increased the estimated time and also moved back to the 5th of October. So as you can see, once this change is done in OBX, in the project plan, you can see that all the schedule is updated. So many of you are struggling to know what's your team's capacity, and the constant changes in the plan, which you cannot really avoid, are really making it difficult. And this is why we made our products work together. With professional services experience, so PSX, you can achieve even more. PSX extends the capability of RCO, helping you to ensure that your projects are also successful and profitable. With PSX, you not only stay on top of your team's capacity and utilization, but also project budgets, costs, expenses, and what's even more important, your margin. As your team logs their time and expenses against your project, both your planned and actual budget metrics are calculated in real time, so you not only see where you are, but you can also react to any issues fast enough to prevent them. So let's dive in. You've already seen how easily you can search and allocate people to your projects based on their availability and skills. When using the onboarding experience with professional services experience, you would do it exactly the same way. Now, once your team is all set up and you start to work on the project, your project team can easily report their time spent on task and mark them as complete directly from the project plan. So let's pretend I've done some work on the Speed to Win project and now I want to log my time. So let's go to the project page. Where I can also see my project plan built in. And let's find the task, install task with OBX. I'll log now half an hour. And navigate now to my Precursive, which is my timesheet. And you can see here my half an hour that I've just logged against this install OBX task with task. So every time I log my time in OBX against a task, all this time will be fed up into my timesheet. And this is happening in real time. So as you can see, it's much easier than filling in my timesheet with all those entries, as the only thing I need to do is to review it once per week and just submit it. The time logged is easily reportable, so you can analyze the time spent on certain tasks from many angles such as task, project, phase, resource, or account. Also, if there are any project-related expenses that your team should report on, you can easily add them to your project. You can report the cost of the expense, but also if the expense is billable to your customer, you can report the revenue. As you save the expense, you can submit it, and then you will be able to track them from your project page. And you will see in a second how easy it is. So let's go back to the project page. So what you can see here, it's not only the project details, but also you can see the project plan. So all the bookings of people in context of this specific project. So we have Robin's bookings here, but also you can see the project plan and the budget information page. So on the left-hand side, you can see the column with what has been planned. And on the right-hand side, you can see the actual values. So you can easily compare the two. There are 3 sections here on this page. You can see the revenue and cost, time and expenses. Depending on the budget method, if it's a fixed price project or time and materials, the revenue can be fixed or calculated based on time and rates and chargeable expenses. Then as your project team log their time and expenses, you'll see how the actual cost will increase and the profitability and margin will go down. As costs are calculated based on time and the individual cost, which can be assigned to them by resource, role, or specific rate card, if you allocate a resource with a higher cost to the project, this will also impact the cost and profit. If any task has to be rescheduled, the estimated time changes or people log their time and the plan and actual time gets updated, you'll see how your budget is updated as well. The configuration of this page as we are looking at it now is the default one, but you need to know that those section names, labels, and calculations are configurable here. So if your business called the revenue in a different way, or you would like to have some more custom calculations here, it's easy to adjust. All the budget metrics are very easy to report on, and you can create multiple variations of dashboards that can show you what's the profitability and budget health of your project by account, project phase. So as you can see, this all makes perfect sense when it works together. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and over to you, Andy.
Thanks for that, Kate. So I think it's great to see how all of our products are now working together to support customer onboarding, implementation, and professional services projects. So having that Precursive plan update automatically based on changes happening in the project has been amazing for us ourselves internally, especially at that moment when customer projects are starting or stopping or being delayed or pulled forward. Just by updating that project plan and the planned dates of kickoffs or these different meetings or events and milestones within the project, we can see the impact that that has to our overall services team and our availability. Now, at the top of the session, I shared some of these challenges with managing teams' capacity, work being assigned without regard for capacity, this divergence of resource plan and the actual plan that I just described, and having a handle on what we can take on. So with the Precursive platform, teams' capacity and availability is created based on the assignment of work. This means that your resource plan is as accurate as your project plan. This doesn't need to be managed in 2 places. The view of everyone's availability is calculated based on their work. If your project slips or changes, the view of capacity is immediately updated. So work can be assigned based on the availability, skill, and knowledge of the team. Kate showed this from the Precursive plan. Everyone's timesheet will be populated as time is logged against the tasks. And on more detail, this means that as you're logging time against those tasks, the name and details of the task shows up in the timesheet as well, so you get more information about what's actually being recorded. The submitted time on the timesheets rolls up to show you the real cost of your projects. It does this by matching the rates and costs from rate cards, roles, or rates individually assigned to each of the different people. This is then aggregated and presented on the project P&L, or the budget info, showing real-time view of revenue, cost, profit, and margin across your projects. And this view on the project is configurable, allowing you to create your own KPIs at project level. And all of this can be built into reports and dashboards that you can see across your practices, your groups, your teams, or your whole business. So everything that you've seen today is available now. And to get started, you can request a demo at precursive.com or reach out to your customer success manager. So today we've seen how Precursive Platform can work together. Precursive Onboarding Experience, all about these repeatable onboarding and project implementation playbooks. Precursive Resource Capacity Management gives you the view of your team's availability to plan and allocate resources, forecast capacity, and identify crunches. And the Precursive Services Experience, so extending this capability of resource management, helping you to ensure that each project is successful and profitable. So together, they form the Precursive Platform, which helps your team create the seamless journey for your customers, but also let your customers realize the value of your product and service quicker. So before we head into the Q&A, I wanted to provide an update on our roadmap over the coming months. So we're currently rolling out a summer release across all of our different products. Precursive Onboarding Experience was rebranded from TaskFeed, and we also delivered huge updates to the plan view in addition to contact roles, which allows you to assign customers and partners to boards and tasks. We've also added a suite of Lightning components to really improve the view when you're looking at a board or a task within the Salesforce Lightning experience. You can also put these Lightning components onto your communities as well, so your customers can have a great experience too. There's been a big update to the onboarding experience with board templates that makes getting started much faster and easier. You can now build out a board and just mark it as a template and then just start using it. It's as easy as that. It's the best way to do it. It's sort of direct manipulation. You need to change that template. You just go into that template board, make the change, and it will be used from then on. It's a really great way, and we're doing more around making that even better in subsequent releases. For resource management, you can now embed the Precursive plan with project and phases to more clearly see your project team and their assignments. So Kate showed that earlier on. There's also more options to configure custom fields when creating projects and phases and expenses and things like that. Our Precursive Service Experience has also had a huge update with the addition of multi-currency. So no matter what currency you're billing in, or what costs and expenses are coming in from in different currencies, Precursive will now handle that for you and translate it into a project currency and a base currency for you. So we're not stopping there. We're already working on a number of improvements around these 4 themes. You'll be seeing My Precursive grow beyond a timesheet and being a hub for individuals to see their upcoming holiday, request time off, and submit expenses, and also approve. We're improving the controls that you have for managing non-billable time on projects and expanding how we're going to let you report on utilization to allow you to define different categories of time to determine an individual's productive utilization. We're making big changes to the resourcing flow to allow you to assign a whole team in one go and provide more insight into the people's availability to help you find the best person. Finally, we're working on Precursive billing, which will be available by the end of the year, and will let you raise invoices from within Precursive for time and expenses. These can be sent right from Precursive, or you can integrate with your accounting system of choice. This is our plan for Precursive Resource Management and Service Experience over the next 6 months. For our Onboarding Experience customers, we've got a lot planned too. We've got a number of plans to improve the way you work with your own customers. Building on the contact roles feature available now, we'll be integrating this into your customer communities and let you create onboarding and project communities faster. We're exploring new insights to help you monitor the most important KPIs easily, like board health and times of value. And we want to provide you with the most powerful project management experience on the platform. So all of this while continuing to drive innovation from combining insights from each product. So when you're working on a project, you should be able to see the availability of your team and take action then and there. Okay, so that's an overview of our roadmap over the next 6 months. Now over to some questions. Okay. Kate, it looks like a couple have come in. We've seen one came in earlier in the session, which I can kind of take first, which was, I think it was when you were presenting how you can share the plan with the customer. So the question is, how does a customer see the project in Salesforce if they don't have a Salesforce license? So the way that you do that with the Precursive onboarding experience is through one of two ways. First of all, you can either use our external sharing feature. So with that, we generate a unique URL for each board or each project, which you can then send to your customer, and they get a real-time read-only view of that project plan. So that way they're able to keep up to date with what the project plan looks like and check in whenever they need to. If you want deeper collaboration with your customers, then you can use a community. And through that, your customers can log into a community and you can define the access that they have. So they can contribute to the project, you can assign them to tasks, they can go and check tasks off, or they can just collaborate through the chatter feed there as well. So we've got a couple of different options depending on how close and deep that collaboration you want to get. So Kate, there's a next question which you could probably take. So this is, are the percentage of resource availability always based on a 40-hour week, or can they be configured to show percentages based on part-time schedules?
Yeah, so it can be configured to be based on the standard working hours of a resource and also the working days in a week. So if someone works only 3 days a week, it will be based on their standard working hours and those 3 days working in a week.
There's also
another one.
Yeah, there's also a follow-up question that relates to that as well, around how do we handle holidays for users in different timelines or different regions. So I guess you could talk to how we've got the holiday request, PTO, and also the time off as well, Kate.
So there are many ways to manage that. First of all, we have something that it's called time off per location. So that's a functionality that allows you to define public holidays per location. And that can be assigned for each resource and for each location. So in every time zone, you can have a different set of public holidays. But also you can use the holiday request, which means that people can submit their holidays to their line manager or to their project manager for approval. And once it is approved, it automatically appears as a booking on Precursive Plan, so the schedule, but also in the timesheet. So it's pretty automatic.
So you think about it, you can define at a resource level what days of a week they're working and how often they're working each day. You can then layer on time off by different locations. You might have some staff in different countries or different states with different national or state holidays. And then you also might have your individuals just taking PTO or time off where they're not available, for example. So there's one other question here. Do all of my team, so the project managers, need a Salesforce license to use this? So the answer is that they need a license. They need a Precursive license. So they don't necessarily need a Salesforce Sales Cloud license, but they'll need a Precursive license to be able to assign work and log in and do their timesheets. So if there's questions around what that looks like and the cost involved, then I recommend just getting in touch and we can have a conversation about that and help explain it specific to your own requirements. Oh gosh, there's a few more questions as well come in. I didn't scroll down. So there's a question here. Does the plan have a concept of customer and resource location? So yes, I assume that means the resourcing plan when you're making requests.
Yeah, so the resourcing plan has a concept of the resource location, as each resource can be assigned to a different one. And then you can also filter to see only resources from a certain location. And also save those filters. Yeah, and also, sorry, and also save those filters so that you can easily access them without having to set them up once again, because you can save filters in Precursive.
Okay, sure. So there's another question about expenses system integration, like Concur, Expensify, or SalesTrip. So we don't have any out-of-the-box expense system integration. Many of those products are native to Salesforce platform anyway, or have connections with the Salesforce platform. So we'd be happy to have a conversation around the expense platform that you're currently using to see how that could be supported through Precursive as well. So I think just because we haven't got a native out-of-the-box integration into Precursive, the fact that all of these products have a deep integration into the Salesforce platform means we can do quite a lot with that. Okay, let's have a look. So we've got a question here. Can you describe the planned improvement around time to value reporting, please, and how will that work? I can. Again, we haven't started work on this yet, so this is happening later in the year. So what we're looking at is being able to define key milestones within an onboarding plan and allow you to track the time that key milestone is achieved versus other key dates in the onboarding plan. So that could be the opportunity close date, the kickoff date, the other arbitrary milestones that you have, and then be able to set target time to value across different board types. So then you're able to report across all of your onboarding plans to see, are we targeted to deliver success or deliver first value in line with the expectation for this type of implementation.
There's another question. Is there a limit to how many licenses you can provide for our teams? Maybe Andy would like to take it.
No, not really. It'd be good to, again, it'd be for kind of licensing and that type of discussion, we could probably have a more detailed conversation. There isn't really any license, any sort of limit to the number of licenses you have. There's different options that you have. If you want your customers to collaborate with your project plans, then there are options to provide license for them to log into a community. The external sharing feature that I described, where you just share a unique link to your customer, they don't need, there's no license for that. You just, so long as your internal people have licenses, they can share those plans to as many customers as they want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's also another question. Do these products support invoicing customers? So as we mentioned, we are working on the billing module, which means that very soon we are releasing this solution that will allow you to create invoices based on time and expenses. So you'll be able to send the invoice to your customer based on real data from the system.
Yep, that's right. And in the meantime, all the information from the timesheets available to report on or export to pull into invoices, either manually or through your own integration. That's the connection we're looking to kind of resolve and solve with Precursive billing.
There is also another question. Does every resource require a license within the project? So
does every resource require, if that's an internal resource in your company, then they do. In Onboarding Experience, you can assign tasks to contacts. So if a task needs to be done by a customer or even a partner, you can assign it to them. But if you want to track that resource availability and their capacity and their utilization and things like that, then they need to have a Precursive license. So again, if there's what we can do is have a conversation directly to understand what those requirements are.
Mm-hmm. Are there any other questions?
Okay, it looks like that's everything. So hopefully everyone found that helpful. For me, it was great for us to be able to present the whole platform together. We've been working on this for a while, and hopefully it gave you a good insight into the direction that we're heading. So I think there's huge amounts of capability there today, and this is just the start. So we're looking forward to what we're going to be delivering over the next sort of 3, 6, 12 months as well. Okay, thanks everyone for attending, and we hope to see you all soon.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everyone.